Hello, hello, hello. This is Carla Michelle with the Strong Woman's Network podcast. How are you today? For those of you who know and those of you who don't, you can find me on Instagram at Miss Carla Michelle. That's MSCARLA MICHELLE. Facebook, Carla Michelle. LinkedIn, Carla Michelle. Look for Carla Michelle and you'll find me. It is so great to have you again tuning in. This is a little switch up. I usually have guests on, which I love because I love hearing the stories and the journey and the insight that I receive and you receive from having someone else speak and share and give some insight and validate the journey that they're on. Is validate a good word? I don't know, but I like it right now. So today I want to talk about habits. How many of us have habits? Some good, some not so good, some work for us, some kind of hold us back. So let's just have a conversation about habits. And what do you think about them? You know, whether a habit is working too long, a habit of falling for the wrong guy or girl, the habit of eating the food that doesn't quite benefit your body, the habit of smoking, whatever your choice of smoking is, the habit of drinking, the habit of not giving your all, the habit of second guessing yourself, the habit of self-doubt. There are all kind of habits out there. I think we give more time and more attention to smoking, eating, drinking. But do we give a focused thought on the small habits of self-doubt or negative thinking or the habit of being depressed? What do you think of that? What do you think? The habit of being depressed. Because you know what? That could be a habit. You can be so accustomed to things going wrong in your life that it becomes a stronghold, a hold that is strong on you, that when something good happens, you just cannot believe it because you have a habit of things going wrong or things making you sad or things being a disappointment. A habit. Well, one thing I know for sure is we can change a habit. I had an uncle, or have an uncle, who smoked for many years. And one day, for him, it was a decision to just not smoke anymore. I don't believe he used a patch. And maybe he did. I'm not sure, but I don't recall that being a part of it. But he went cold turkey and decided he wasn't going to smoke anymore. So habits can be changed. They can. You have to have the knowledge and the ability to understand that you can control yourself and have the result that you want as part of your lifestyle. And each time, possibly when the habit seems to have a stronger hold on you, what are you doing in the midst of those thoughts that come back? Or your brain and your body are responding to what it used to respond to, especially with smoking or eating or drinking. When something rough comes your way or something's testing you, or you use it as a form of relaxation or liquid courage or whatever it takes, or there's so much going on, this helps me escape. One thing for sure, we got to know what we are pacifying with our habits. What are we pacifying? What is it that we're trying to cover up? And why are we so fearful of feeling whatever is there? If it's loneliness, if it's fear, if it's doubt, what is so wrong in feeling that emotion? Who taught you to not feel that? Or where in your mind did you say, I will no longer feel like this because I don't like it? And many have grown up with abuse in their childhood, many types of abuse, disappointments, things that have been ingrained in us to say that we never want to feel this way, or we may have witnessed something and we've told ourselves we'll never experience that. But yet, in order to not experience it or not feel it, we're eating it, we're drinking it, we're smoking it, just to not feel. Is there power in sitting in that emotion? Do you have to be brave to do it? I'm going to say no. I'm going to say you just have to be willing to see why this habit has formed. And if you can't do it by yourself, definitely get some friends involved. Get someone you can trust, whether it's a coach, whether it's a therapist, whether it's someone that you look up to, a mentor, but something has to break. But you have to remember that you have the ability to control yourself and bring about a positive change in your basic makeup. You really can. I did an internship at a rehabilitation center for drugs and alcohol. I spent a year there for hours in order to get my master's in marriage and family therapy. And I saw many people with drug and alcohol habits, and some were able to break through, and others weren't always able to keep it. And one of the things I saw in common, or one of the things I saw, how about not in common, was usually there was underlying issues that had not been dealt with. Whether it's the young man who doesn't live the life that his parents want him to live, and he was in love with another man. I mean, his parents could not accept that. So it was in his habit that he found escape. And it's in his habit that he felt that he could function and not feel. So, or it's the mom who was sexually molested as a kid and used drinking and drugs and went to the point of just protecting her children, only to find out they too, by other family members, were sexually abused, and they sought out drugs and drinking. And really the underlying issue was the molestation, was the being forced to comply with someone that was very close to them and not being able to tell that secret until they were adults. But in the meantime, they had been suppressing it with their habit. So it serves us to do some work in finding out what is really the underlying cause of the habits that we carry. And then we have to also, one, know that we can get over it and that we can do something about it. We need to ask for help with that, so be it. But we also need to know, we have to see and understand the physical consequences that it has. Like, what is the wear and tear on our bodies from what we're doing, from what we're not doing? And everything, a lot of people can last a long time doing some things that are not great for their body and live great lives. But for those who can't, it is a wake-up call to understand that, how is this habit helping you? And what can you replace it with? Find something that brings you joy in place of that. If you've had a hard life and you felt that what is coming at you is unbearable and there's no options, there's the opportunity to really seek and find out, what options do you have where you can help somebody else. You can help someone not feel what you felt. You can help someone see what you didn't see. There's ways, and there are people who need what you have to have. When we talk about strong, one of the in the strong, the N is necessary. You have to believe that you're necessary and what you have, someone needs. Even if it's something that you feel ashamed to share or to be made known, you have to understand that there's someone out there who may need what you have in that very area that you were too ashamed to share. So please know that could be your part of your wholeness is sharing, is reaching out, is going beyond your fears, going beyond your walls and reaching out to someone else who may need what you have. I know habits may seem like they can never ever end. Like this is just who I am. This is what I do. This is who I am and you need to accept it. Whether it could be a small habit of just you don't clean. Why don't you clean? Why don't you? Why don't you care what your room looks like, your house looks like, your car looks like? What's really going on? What's really happening? What are you really saying to those who see it? Now, I don't want to psychoanalyze, which I kind of do anyway, but this is serious in the sense of there is an awareness and there is a part that needs to be awakened to see and to hear and to understand why you do or don't do what you do. Why you do or don't do what you do. I love to say there's power in knowing yourself. The best thing that I could ever tell a client that I'm working with is know yourself. And when you know yourself, you free yourself because you're also giving yourself the self you know and the things you might not appreciate about yourself an opportunity to grow. And your habits tell you. Your habits tell you where you're going. Your habits tell you where you've been. So listen, take note, and understand that you have the power, you have the capability, you have the insight, and you have the wisdom to turn things around when it comes to your habits. Now let's talk about how important habits keep you on track. Now with where we are in the world and waking up early seems like people are still doing it, but a lot of us, whether you're furloughed, working from home, things are more or less, and those who are out and going out and who are essential workers, things may be a little different in your schedule. But what habits do you have right now that are helping you succeed? Not all habits are bad habits. So what habits are you following that help you succeed? Take the time to really think about that because sometimes we take things for granted of what we do correctly. Correctly, I'm going to use that loosely because it's not about perfection here. It's not about doing things correctly. It's about the process. It's about not having a hardship of trying to be perfect. But it is definitely looking for ways to maintain your momentum on the road that you have chosen to be on and to achieve the definition of success that you've given for your life. And what are those habits? What are those habits that have helped you? Is it exercise? Well, kudos. Is it meditation and prayer? Kudos. Is it eating right? Kudos. Is it watching the way you talk, the way you speak about yourself, and the way you speak about others? Kudos. You have a habit of not being judgmental. All right. You have a habit of being kind. Okay. You have a habit of showing up for people around you. All right. You have a habit of finding harmony in your life. You're not over functioning. You're not trying to be a people pleaser. You've stopped things that don't serve you. All right, I see you. So there's those good habits that we have. And then there are those that we have to adjust. Wherever you are in life, whatever you are, wherever you are, not just whatever you are, make your habit your companion. Make your habit your companion. So that means that if it's working for you, if it flows for you, if it fits, that's the habits you want. And the habits that are going against the life that you want, it's time to correct. It's time to let them go. It's time to turn them around and do things that work for you. All right? Well, that's all I have for this moment. But I wanted to stop in and let you know, if you got a habit and it's not working for you, you have the capability, and you have the power to bring about change. If you can't do it on your own, you got to reach out. And then the good habits, celebrate them. Kudos, write them down. You're doing great. And I'm sure you're going to find a balance between the two. This is not to put pressure on you, but this is to make you aware and keep you aware and awaken your consciousness of who you are and what you can do and what you have or what's waiting for you. All right, this is Carla Michelle, your host of the Strong Woman's Network podcast. I am so glad you tuned in. And if you haven't already subscribed, do so. Do so now. And hey, you'll hear more. Take care.